In this video, we will explain why some familiar combinations with eggs can be not just harmful, but genuinely dangerous for your well-being. Eggs are a popular source of protein and vitamins, but when combined incorrectly, they can lead to serious health conditions, food poisoning, and even contribute to issues with the heart and liver. You will learn about 10 foods that should never be eaten together with eggs, from common mistakes to hidden dangers that are not mentioned on the packaging. Watch until the end to avoid severe consequences and protect the health of yourself and your loved ones. This video is going to be incredibly informative and helpful. If you want to take control of your health like a pro, give it a like, and let's get started. Mistake number 10. Never eat eggs together with rice, as this can lead to serious health issues such as dyspepsia, gastritis, colitis, and other gastrointestinal disorders. Although rice and eggs may seem like simple and common foods, their combination can cause significant health problems. It is important to understand that both of these foods contain complex nutrients that affect the digestive system in different ways. Rice is primarily made up of carbohydrates, while eggs consist of proteins and fats, and their digestion requires different enzymes and varying amounts of time. This combination can significantly slow down digestion, cause bloating, a feeling of heaviness, and disrupt intestinal motility. In addition, the slow digestion of these foods may create a favorable environment for fermentation in the gastrointestinal tract, which can result in discomfort and impaired intestinal function. According to research by the American Gastroenterological Association, unbalanced combinations of foods, especially those high in carbohydrates and proteins, can lead to dyspepsia and other gastrointestinal conditions, such as irritable bowel syndrome and gastritis. Studies conducted by the American Institute of Nutrition have shown that the slow digestion of carbohydrates when combined with proteins can lead to the growth of harmful bacteria in the gut and trigger inflammation. A well-known case of such problems occurred with a 54-year-old man from the United States. He regularly ate a combination of eggs and rice for breakfast, believing it was a healthy and nutritious meal. However, after several months, he began experiencing persistent bloating, a heavy feeling after meals, and bouts of abdominal discomfort. Eventually, he was diagnosed with gastritis, which turned out to have developed due to his poor dietary habits. Doctors found that his digestive system was unable to properly handle the simultaneous digestion of foods like rice and eggs, which caused chronic inflammation of the stomach lining. How can this mistake be avoided? First of all, it is important not to combine foods that require different digestion times. To prevent unpleasant consequences, it is better to eat rice with vegetables rich in dietary fiber, such as broccoli or spinach, which helps speed up the digestion of carbohydrates. Eggs, on the other hand, can be combined with leafy greens or avocado to improve digestion and support gut health. The American Heart Association also recommends avoiding frying eggs in oil and reducing the amount of fat consumed along with carbohydrates in order to improve metabolism and lower the risk of metabolic disorders. Mistake number 9. Never eat eggs together with cabbage, as this combination can lead to serious digestive problems, cause inflammation of the intestines, and even worsen existing chronic gastrointestinal conditions. At first glance, eggs and cabbage seem like healthy and nutritious foods. Both are rich in essential nutrients. Eggs contain high-quality proteins, fats, and vitamins, while cabbage is full of fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants. However, combining these two foods can put significant stress on your digestive system. The reason is that eggs are rich in animal protein and cabbage is high in fiber, which requires a long and complex digestive process. When eaten together, they can cause bloating, a feeling of heaviness, and lead to fermentation in the intestines. Studies conducted by the T.H. Chan School of Public Health at Harvard University show that a high intake of fiber combined with animal proteins can disrupt the balance of gut microbiota. This is especially risky for people with sensitive digestive systems. The fiber in cabbage slows down the digestion of proteins, which can lead to fermentation in the intestines and result in colitis, gas buildup, and even inflammation of the intestinal lining. The case of a 38-year-old woman from the United Kingdom clearly shows how poor dietary choices can lead to serious consequences. She regularly ate eggs together with cabbage, believing it was a healthy and beneficial meal to help maintain her figure. However, she soon began to experience frequent abdominal pain, bloating, and chronic fatigue after eating. After consulting a doctor and undergoing gastrointestinal tests, she was diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome and inflammation of the mucus lining. Doctors explained that her habit of combining eggs with a large amount of cabbage disrupted her digestion and led to significant inflammation. To avoid making this mistake, it is important to understand how different foods interact with each other. One of the best solutions is to separate the intake of proteins and fiber into different meals. For example, instead of eating eggs and cabbage together, it is better to pair eggs with vegetables that are easier to digest, such as spinach or avocado. Cabbage, on the other hand, is better consumed with foods and carbohydrates, which help the fiber break down more efficiently. The American Institute for Cancer Research also recommends avoiding excessive consumption of fiber together with animal proteins in order to reduce the risk of inflammatory bowel conditions and support a healthy balance of gut microbiota. Mistake number 8. Never eat eggs together with bread, as this can cause metabolic disorders, lead to weight gain, and increase the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. At first glance, the combination of eggs and bread seems completely harmless. It is a familiar breakfast for millions of people around the world. However, this pairing can seriously harm your health. Bread, especially white bread, contains simple carbohydrates that raise blood sugar levels. When these carbohydrates are combined with the fats and proteins found in eggs, the body receives more energy than it can process. The excess energy is converted into fat, which leads to weight gain, while fluctuations in blood sugar levels increase the risk of developing diabetes. The American Diabetes Association confirms that eating foods with a high glycemic index, such as white bread, along with foods rich in fat and protein, accelerates the development of insulin resistance, which is a key risk factor for type 2 diabetes. Studies conducted by the T.H. Chan School of Public Health at Harvard University have shown that frequent consumption of white bread together with other high-calorie foods like eggs leads to significant weight gain and a slower metabolism. Researchers found that people who regularly ate eggs with bread had a 35% higher risk of developing obesity. A striking example is the case of a 42-year-old man from the United States. He had eggs and white bread for breakfast every day, believing it to be an ideal and balanced meal. However, over several years, he gained nearly 20 pounds and his blood sugar levels became elevated. Eventually, he was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Doctors explained that his constant habit of eating eggs with bread, especially white bread, caused the accumulation of excess fat and led to metabolic disturbances. Instead of white bread, which contains few nutrients and many empty calories, it is better to choose whole grain bread. Whole grain bread contains more fiber, which slows down the absorption of carbohydrates and helps regulate blood sugar levels. The American Heart Association also recommends eating eggs with vegetables or avocado to balance protein and fat intake, improve digestion, and maintain a healthy weight. Mistake number 7. Never combine eggs with coffee, as this can lead to anemia, osteoporosis, and even stomach ulcers. For many people, the morning begins with a refreshing cup of coffee and scrambled eggs. This classic breakfast combination seems normal and harmless to millions, but in reality, having eggs with coffee can pose a real threat to your health. The reason is that coffee contains caffeine, which significantly reduces the absorption of important micronutrients such as calcium and iron from eggs and other foods. This leads to a deficiency of these substances in the body, which can trigger the development of serious conditions like osteoporosis, anemia, stomach ulcers, and even cardiovascular complications. According to research from the American Society for Nutrition, calcium and iron deficiency is one of the most common causes of osteoporosis and anemia among people over the age of 40. A study conducted by the United States National Institutes of Health showed that regularly drinking coffee with meals reduces iron absorption by 40%. In the long term, this can result in significant problems with blood formation, increasing the risk of cardiovascular issues and other complications. Let us take a look at the story of a 35-year-old woman from Sweden. She began every morning with coffee and scrambled eggs, believing this breakfast to be an ideal source of energy. However, she soon began noticing constant fatigue and shortness of breath. When she visited a doctor, she learned that she had developed anemia due to long-term iron deficiency. Doctors explained that the coffee she drank with her eggs was blocking the absorption of iron, which led to this dangerous condition. How can this mistake be avoided? The solution is simple. Drink coffee no sooner than 45 minutes after a meal. This gives the body enough time to fully absorb the necessary micronutrients from eggs and other foods. The T.H. Chan School of Public Health at Harvard University also recommends starting your morning with more neutral beverages, such as water with lemon or herbal tea, and saving coffee for a later time in the day. Mistake number 6. Never combine eggs with legumes, as this can lead to stomach ulcers, pancreatitis, and chronic inflammation of the intestines. For many people trying to maintain a balanced diet, eggs and legumes may seem like the perfect combination. These foods are rich in protein and offer high nutritional value. However, few people realize that eating them together can become a ticking time bomb for your digestive system. Why? The proteins found in eggs and legumes are difficult to digest at the same time. This leads to increased gas production, bloating, and, more dangerously, inflammation of the gastrointestinal tract. The United States National Institutes of Health conducted a study showing that combining different sources of protein places extra strain on the pancreas and stomach. This overload can result in pancreatitis, one of the most serious conditions affecting the pancreas, which causes inflammation and tissue damage. Legumes also contain anti-enzymes that interfere with the normal digestion of proteins, making the situation even more difficult. One example of this issue involves a 42-year-old man from Canada. As an active follower of healthy eating, he had an omelet with beans every morning, believing it to be the ideal way to start the day. However, after several months, he began suffering from severe abdominal pain and frequent bloating. His doctor diagnosed him with chronic gastritis and inflammation of the pancreas, caused by difficulties digesting the proteins. To prevent possible digestive problems, it is recommended not to combine eggs and legumes in the same meal. According to research from Stanford University, it is better to separate meals that contain different sources of protein to avoid overloading the digestive system. You can eat legumes for lunch or dinner and have eggs separately for breakfast. This makes it easier for your body to process the protein and reduces the risk of ulcers, pancreatitis, and inflammatory bowel conditions. Mistake number 5. Never eat eggs and meat together, as this can lead to the development of cardiovascular diseases and negatively affect liver health. Meat and eggs on the same plate might seem like a classic combination, but in reality it is one of the most harmful pairings imaginable. Why is it dangerous? The problem lies in the high concentration of protein and fat contained in both foods. The human body simply cannot handle such an overload, which can eventually lead to serious conditions involving the heart, liver, and kidneys. A study conducted by the American Heart Association revealed that consuming large amounts of saturated fats and cholesterol found in both meat and eggs significantly increases the risk of cardiovascular disease. Researchers discovered that people who frequently ate eggs with meat for breakfast had a 25% higher risk of developing coronary artery disease compared to those who ate these foods separately. The high cholesterol content in both products contributes to the accumulation of bad cholesterol, or low-density lipoproteins, in the blood. This promotes plaque buildup in the arteries and raises the risk of heart attacks and strokes. An example of a serious outcome involving this combination is the case of a 55-year-old man from the United States. He was a fan of bacon and eggs for breakfast and was unaware of the hidden risks. Over the course of 2 years, he developed severe atherosclerosis, which led to a sudden heart attack. Doctors noted that excessive consumption of saturated fats and cholesterol played a key role in his condition. To avoid such consequences, it is recommended to separate the intake of meat and eggs. The T.H. Chan School of Public Health at Harvard University advises reducing the amount of saturated fats and cholesterol in the diet by replacing meat with plant-based protein sources or fish, which is rich in beneficial omega-3 fatty acids. If you are not ready to give up meat and eggs completely, try not to eat them together and limit their consumption to 1 or 2 times per week. This will help reduce the strain on the liver and heart, lower levels of bad cholesterol, and minimize the risk of cardiovascular disease. Mistake number 4. Eggs combined with milk and cheese is a dangerous mix that can lead to serious gastrointestinal disorders and allergic reactions. The combination of eggs with milk and cheese might seem like the perfect breakfast solution, but it carries many risks for your health. The main problem lies in the difficulty of digesting the proteins found in these foods. Eggs, milk, and cheese are all rich in protein, which places a heavy load on your digestive system. This overload can lead to unpredictable consequences, ranging from mild discomfort to severe digestive disturbances. The United States National Institutes of Health conducted a study showing that consuming eggs together with dairy products can slow down digestion and cause fermentation in the intestines. The research revealed that the combination of proteins and lactose, the sugar found in milk, can contribute to gas buildup and bloating, which significantly increases the risk of developing gastritis and irritable bowel syndrome. These symptoms can lead to long-term digestive problems. According to the T.H. Chan School of Public Health at Harvard University, frequent consumption of dairy products and eggs can interfere with the absorption of calcium and vitamins, resulting in a deficiency of these essential nutrients. This can make it especially difficult to prevent osteoporosis and other bone-related conditions, since calcium and vitamins play a key role in maintaining bone health. A clear example of the negative effects of this combination is the case of a 42-year-old man from the United Kingdom. He was a regular consumer of cheese and milk omelets every day. After several years, he began experiencing severe abdominal pain and frequent digestive issues. After consulting with doctors, it was revealed that his regular intake of these foods contributed to the development of chronic gastritis and intestinal dysbiosis. To avoid such problems, it is recommended to separate the consumption of eggs and dairy products. The American Diabetes Association advises eating them at different meals and paying attention to maintaining a balanced diet. To improve digestion, try pairing eggs with vegetables or whole grain foods, which contain fiber and help promote healthy digestion. If you prefer dairy products, it is better to consume them with fruits or nuts, which do not place the same strain on the digestive tract. Mistake number 3. Eggs and potatoes are a risky combination that can cause digestive issues such as constipation and gas buildup, and also increase the risk of cardiovascular disease due to the high content of fats and carbohydrates. When cooked together, eggs and potatoes may look like the perfect breakfast or dinner, but this pairing can pose a serious risk to your health. The main concern is their effect on blood glucose levels and the overall condition of the gastrointestinal tract. When eggs and potatoes are included in the same meal, they form a powerful mix of proteins and carbohydrates that can cause spikes in blood sugar levels. The T.H. Chan School of Public Health at Harvard University explains that potatoes, especially when cooked, contain easily digestible carbohydrates that quickly turn into glucose. When these carbohydrates are combined with the proteins from eggs, it can place significant stress on the pancreas, which must produce insulin to regulate blood sugar. The American Diabetes Association warns that regularly consuming such combinations can contribute to insulin resistance and prediabetes. Studies show that fluctuations in blood sugar levels promote inflammation in the body, which in turn can increase the risk of developing type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular diseases. Does this combination also affect digestion? Yes, and quite seriously. According to a study by Stanford University, consuming too many carbohydrates and proteins in a single meal can slow down digestion, leading to excessive gas and stomach discomfort. Additionally, potatoes are rich in starch, which, when interacting with the proteins in eggs, can make digestion more difficult and cause digestive disturbances. Consider the case of a 53-year-old man from Canada. David was a fan of hearty breakfasts and often ate scrambled eggs with potato wedges. After several months, he began experiencing severe abdominal pain, bloating, and frequent intestinal issues. After seeking medical help, he learned that his digestive system was overloaded and needed a more balanced approach to nutrition. To avoid such problems, it is important to be cautious when combining eggs and potatoes in one dish. The United States National Institutes of Health recommends separating the intake of carbohydrates and proteins throughout the day, to avoid overloading the digestive system and to maintain stable blood sugar levels. You can start your day with a serving of eggs and include potatoes as a separate meal for lunch or dinner. It is also a good idea to pair potatoes with fiber-rich vegetables to slow the absorption of carbohydrates and reduce the risk of blood sugar spikes. Mistake number 2. Eggs and sugar are a dangerous combination that can cause a sharp spike in blood sugar levels, which in turn increases the risk of developing type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular diseases. When eggs, which are rich in protein and fat, are combined with sugar, it not only disrupts the balance of your diet, but can also lead to serious health problems. This combination triggers unpleasant metabolic reactions and can potentially lead to various conditions, including diabetes and cardiovascular issues. Eggs are high in protein and fats, which normally slow the absorption of sugar. However, when paired with sugar, they create an unfavorable metabolic load. The T.H. Chan School of Public Health at Harvard University emphasizes that high sugar consumption is linked to an increased risk of insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. Sugar, especially in processed forms, is quickly absorbed into the bloodstream, causing rapid spikes in glucose levels. As a result, the pancreas is forced to produce a large amount of insulin to manage the excess sugar. The American Diabetes Association notes that sudden fluctuations in blood sugar can contribute to chronic inflammation, which over time increases the likelihood of developing diabetes and cardiovascular conditions. Research has shown that these fluctuations can damage the cells responsible for insulin production and lead to a pre-diabetic state. The improper combination of eggs and sugar can also impact cardiovascular health. The American Heart Association reports that high sugar intake may contribute to fat buildup in the liver and disrupt lipid metabolism. This leads to elevated cholesterol levels and a higher risk of heart-related conditions. A clear example is the case of a 47-year-old woman from Australia. She was known for her love of sweet breakfasts, often including eggs with sweetened fruits and syrups. Over time, she began to experience symptoms linked to diabetes, such as constant thirst and fatigue. After undergoing medical testing, she was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, which was caused by poor food combinations and excessive sugar consumption. To avoid these problems, it is important to maintain balance and not combine eggs with foods high in sugar in the same meal. The United States National Institutes of Health recommends spreading out the intake of sugar and protein throughout the day to avoid sharp changes in blood sugar levels. For example, you can start your day with eggs and vegetables and enjoy sweet foods as snacks between meals to prevent overloading your body with multiple problematic ingredients at once. Attention, this is one of the most dangerous combinations. Mistake number 1. Eggs and fish are a dangerous combination that can lead to food poisoning and allergic reactions, increasing the risk of serious gastrointestinal disorders and impaired digestive function. Eggs and fish are both popular sources of protein and essential nutrients. However, combining them can result in serious health problems. It is important to understand why this pairing can be harmful and how to avoid potential risks. When eggs and fish are used together, especially when fried or baked, their combination can make digestion and nutrient absorption more difficult. This happens because both of these foods have different levels of acidity and different digestion rates. Eggs contain a high amount of protein and fat, which require specific conditions for proper digestion, while fish, especially fatty fish, also contains significant amounts of protein and fat, which can further complicate the digestive process when consumed together. The T.H. Chan School of Public Health at Harvard University states that a high intake of fat and protein in the diet can slow down digestion and lead to issues such as indigestion and bloating. The combination of the two foods may overload the digestive system, causing discomfort and potentially interfering with the absorption of nutrients. The American Heart Association points out that combining foods high in both protein and fat can increase the risk of cholesterol buildup in the blood and contribute to the development of cardiovascular diseases. High fat intake, especially from saturated fats found in eggs and fish, may lead to the formation of atherosclerotic plaques in the arteries, which increases the risk of heart attacks and strokes. A telling example is the case of a 53-year-old man from the United Kingdom who frequently prepared meals combining eggs and fish, such as fish omelets. After several months, he began experiencing frequent abdominal pain and indigestion. After undergoing a medical examination, he was found to have stomach issues and elevated cholesterol levels. His diet, rich in the combination of eggs and fish, was identified as a key factor that worsened his condition. To avoid such problems, it is recommended to follow some guidelines when planning your diet. Stanford University suggests not overloading the digestive system by eating foods high in protein and fat at the same time. Instead, it is better to separate these foods into different meals, consuming eggs and fish at different times. It is also a good idea to include more fruits and vegetables in the diet, as they help fats and proteins digest and absorb more easily. What do you think about these claims? Share your thoughts in the comments. Next, I recommend checking out these videos, and don't forget to leave your likes and comments. I'm looking forward to them.